Oh, I shouldn't say anymore. I shouldn't say anymore. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have now been on YouTube for 7 years. Let me take you back. 7 years ago, in December 2013, little 18-year-old Riley decided to make a BookTube channel. Did I ever think that 7 years later, I would still be making BookTube videos? Absolutely not. But here I am. I'm still here. Y'all can't get rid of me. And I thought it would be fun to do a Q&A. I haven't really done one in a long time, and I've gotten a lot more subscribers since my last one, so I figured I would do a Q&A, let you guys ask me whatever you wanted about myself, my life, having a BookTube channel, and we can just sit here and chat. So I will start with I guess the first few general questions that I got. How old am I? I am 24. I'm actually turning 25 in 3 weeks, which is crazy. I don't want to think about it. Also, a lot of people asked me what I am studying in school, if I'm still in school, if I've gotten my degree. I am a marketing major. I have not graduated yet. Since I work full-time, I have only been taking 1 or 2 classes a semester, so it's going slow, but it's going. I'm gonna get there one day, but my degree is in marketing. I guess I'll start with BookTube specific questions. Most disappointing moment on BookTube. I don't really know if I've ever had a specific disappointing moment. I guess there was a period of time where I was transitioning my reading and my content from reading primarily young adult stuff to reading adult books and mostly adult romance, adult fantasy, and horror. So there was a transition period, and during that time, my channel died. I was at the same exact subscriber number for over a year, and not because I wasn't gaining subscribers. I was just gaining subscribers at the exact same rate that I was losing subscribers, and my views were really low, and it wasn't necessarily a disappointing time because I feel in the long run it was good because the people who were no longer interested in my content, since I wasn't talking about YA books, left. And then people who were interested in what I was reading now and the content that I was making joined. So in the long run, it was good, but there was a period of time where I was very unsure if I was going to keep doing this because my channel didn't feel like it was growing at all, but it really was. Basically, I feel like I got an entirely new audience, which now I am so thankful for because I love you guys so much and you get me a lot, and I want people here who are genuinely interested in what I'm making and not just because you've been subscribed forever and you're not gonna unsubscribe. But yeah, it was definitely frustrating for a long time to keep working really hard on my channel and feeling like it wasn't making any progress. So I guess moral of the story, stick with it because your audience will find you eventually. One of the number one BookTube related questions that I got is if I've ever had drama with another BookTuber. I've never had actual drama where I'm having beef with a BookTuber, you know, where we're actively arguing or have something. I have beef with other BookTubers in my head. They just don't know about it. There's definitely BookTubers that I don't like. I don't know, if I don't like somebody, I will just mute them on everything and then I forget that they exist. I'm trying to think if I've ever had drama. Oh, you know what? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be very vague because I feel like the tweets are still up. A long time ago, I don't even remember what the situation was, but there was a popular booktuber who was calling people mobs. The mobs are attacking, mob mentality. Whatever it was a serious enough issue for me to say something, which I don't normally say things, but I tweeted this booktuber something with your platform, it's very irresponsible to victim blame and call people mobs because they're upset about something or they're hurt by something. And they blocked me, which fair. But then literally a couple months later, I saw them at BEA because we have a lot of mutual friends and we were in social situations together. But yeah, that's it. That's the extent of my drama. It really wasn't anything. It was just I tweeted somebody something and they blocked me, and then I saw them at social gatherings, which is boring. I'm trying to think of something juicy, but all of my drama with booktubers is in my head? And that's not interesting. I guess there was this one booktuber who, this is so stupid. There was this one booktuber who was copying everything that I did. And at first I was like, I'm never gonna be the type of person who's like, oh, you stole this video idea, because we all share video ideas. We're all inspired by other people's videos. And just because someone else makes the same concept as you doesn't mean it's the same thing. So I'm like, I don't care. If you want to make the same videos as me, I don't care. But it was like they were copying the smallest, most insignificant things to the point where I'm like, are they messing with me? Like, are they trying to get into my mind? Which they did, clearly. But it was like tiny things. Like, I would post a thumbnail for a video and the next day they would post the exact same thumbnail. Or I would say something in a video and like very soon afterwards they would say the exact same phrasing. It was just like really small stuff like that, to the point where like it wasn't obvious enough where I could like say something without looking insane. I'm like, are they fucking with me right now? Like, what is going on? And there's definitely booktubers I really don't like, and I have them muted on everything, but I'm always tagged in things with them because people compare us because we make similar content. Oh, I should stop. This is too much. Let's move on. Yeah, let's talk about something positive. What's your favorite part of BookTube or the community? My favorite part of BookTube. Sorry, I keep looking over here because I'm expecting a FedEx truck to come, and if he walks up to the door, he will 100% see what I'm doing. My favorite part of BookTube is honestly the creative aspect of making videos, because I am not a very artistically talented person, but I love art and I love creating things. I've just never been good at it. So being able to make video content and be creative and have fun with it is amazing. I really love that. So I personally love editing and making thumbnails. Those are my two favorite things, which I feel like most people hate, but I love that because it's like the creative side where I can really like have fun with it. And then as far as my favorite thing about the community, I just really like how genuinely nice the community is. And I know that people say that a lot about BookTube, and then people will also counter it like BookTube isn't really as nice as it seems. And like, yeah, that's true to an extent, but if you go to any BookTube video and look at the comments and compare it to the comments of literally any other community, compare it to like the beauty community or the gaming community or just like other communities on YouTube, the comments are just so much nicer, so much friendlier. Every once in a while I get annoying comments from men, but that's like the extent of it. I never really get hate, which there's definitely a privilege in itself of like a young white woman, but I feel like within BookTube, just in general, like if you look at other people's comments, they're much nicer than other communities. But it's definitely not perfect. It's not like a sunshines and rainbows, everything is perfect all the time. How has your taste in romance and smutty books changed since you started BookTube? So it's definitely expanded a lot. I think in the early years of BookTube, the most like romance books I would read were like college-based new adult, when that was like a really big thing. So like I read a lot of Colleen Hoover, a lot of Jennifer L. Armentrout, Helena Hunting, who else? All those just like classic new adult authors. I read a lot of those, and I guess I don't really read college romance anymore. I'm just like not interested in it. So it's definitely expanded. So like I read so much more romance, so much more diverse romance. I read a lot more like smutty novellas. I don't know, it's just expanded a lot. I had a very like narrow view of romance when I first started BookTube, and it was very like just college new adult. Now it's basically everything. How did you decide to start a YouTube channel? So I've talked about this before, but if you're new here or you don't know, I started my channel when I was 18. Basically, when I was in high school, I got really sick and I had to be homeschooled my last 2 years of high school, and I ended up graduating early. So I had like a long, like 6-month period of time where I wasn't in school, I hadn't started college yet, and I had nothing to do. I was pretty much bedbound, and like I never left the house because I was sick. And that's when my passion for reading was really like rediscovered. I always read a lot as a kid and like a young teen, and then I stopped. But that really sparked my love of reading again because there was nothing else that I could really do other than binge Netflix and read. And that was when I discovered BookTube, and I immediately was so excited because I was like, I finally have people that I can talk about books with. That is why I made my channel. And it was the best decision ever. Do your parents support you in your reading life and BookTube? Yes, my parents have always been such big supporters of like anything that I do because I'm the perfect child. No, but yeah, my parents are super supportive. My stepdad specifically is like my #1 supporter, which is really funny because he doesn't understand the internet a lot. He doesn't understand YouTube. He has no idea what I really do on YouTube other than just like the vague concept of I put videos out there about books. That's the extent of his knowledge of my BookTube channel, but he is so supportive. He's always asking me about my channel. He's very, very on it about when I'm gonna hit 50,000 subscribers. He wants to know the second that it happens. Every time I see him, it's, have you hit 50,000 yet? When are you gonna hit 50,000? So yeah, they're very supportive. What has been the most hyped book on BookTube over the 7 years you've been here? That's a good question. I feel like if given more time, I could give like a very specific answer, but the one that's coming to my head is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, specifically because I feel like that is a book that popped up on every type of channel, whether you were a YA channel, a romance channel, like an adult literary fiction channel, fantasy. Like I feel like every type of reader on BookTube read that book or talked about that book. Yeah, that's the one that's like really coming to my mind as like a universal hyped book. Because there's been like very hyped fantasy, but you'll never see like a romance reader talk about it or a literary fiction reader talk about it. But I feel like The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, everybody was reading. So what is your favorite thing and least favorite thing about being on BookTube? My favorite thing, like I said, is the creative aspect, being able to create art, which sounds so cheesy, but I never had artistic talent, but I had the artistic heart. So yeah, I really like that. My least favorite thing is, I wouldn't really say that it's BookTube specific, but just being like a person on the internet and people feeling like, one, people feeling like they're entitled to your time, and also people feeling like they know you, like they personally know you, and that what you show online is 100% of who you are, and people making assumptions based on that, I guess. I mean, that's something that really comes with the territory of just being a person online and having a platform. People are going to assume things about you. People are going to cross boundaries, especially being like a young woman who primarily makes content about sexy romance books. I get a lot of people crossing way too many boundaries. People asking me about my sex life, people making sexual comments about me, to me, and thinking that that's okay because of the content that I make. I guess that is like my least favorite thing. Like literally today, I got a comment from this guy telling me that he gets off to my videos, which, ew. If it's one thing that men have, it's the audacity. Is your favorite book from your first year on BookTube still a favorite? I feel like the only book that I would still consider like a favorite from, honestly, from before 2017 is Poison Study. I think I read that in December 2013, and I still love that book. I actually reread it this year. It's one of the very few books that I reread, and yeah, I just love it. I still love it every time that I read it. But everything else is just not my taste anymore, and I don't think I consider favorites. Like, I'm trying to think what books were on my favorites for that year, and I feel like it was like John Green, which is so random. Okay, so just like general questions about myself and my life. Why don't you share much about your chronic illness? I feel like I read that rude. I don't think it's meant to be rude. Just why don't you share much about your chronic illness? I read it kind of snarky, sorry. So if you don't know, I have a chronic illness. It's not that I specifically, well, I guess I am. I think that the times that I have shared a little bit more about it on my channel, where I've like peeled back the curtain a little bit and shared more than just like a general I have a chronic illness, I have gotten really hurtful comments about it, which is just something that generally people with chronic illnesses deal with a lot. But I don't know, I have a very short fuse that I work on, and I would rather not talk about it a lot on my channel and potentially avoid getting comments that are going to upset me and hurt me. If you, however, are interested, I was in an entire live show about chronic illness on Bree from 11 Words channel, and that was just like a really amazing experience. We talked for like 3 hours about chronic illness, and it just felt like a very safe, comfortable space where I was able to talk about it because I don't have anybody really in my life that shares that experience. That was a really great live show. I talked all about my chronic illness, what it is, when I got it, what my treatment is, how I deal with it. I'll link that if you're interested in knowing more about it. I probably will never go into that much detail on my own channel just because I want to avoid getting comments of people telling me I'm making it up. Are you dating anyone? No. I get this question every time I do a Q&A, and the answer is always no. Despite the fact that I love romance in books, it's not the life for me. Do you like living in Texas, or is there somewhere you would want to move in the future? To answer the first part of the question, no. I was born in Texas and I moved out of state when I was 14, and I thought I would never come back to Texas in my life. And then my parents moved back to Texas, and I will be wherever my parents are. So I moved back as well. Is this where I want to be the rest of my life? No. I would love to leave the country. I really want to live in Europe, but for now I'm here, and that's just how it is. I mean, Texas does have its pros. For one, it's cheap. Like, I can afford to live a nice life here. But yeah, I would love to move somewhere else one day. Do you have any friends? Someone just said, do you have any friends? I don't know if they're like trying to call me out for not having a social life. Yes, I have friends. Thank you very much. Aside from reading, what do you enjoy doing? Aside from reading? I like hanging out with my dogs. I like watching movies, horror movies specifically. I love horror movies and rom-coms, historical period romance movies, and horror. Those are my two favorite movie genres, horror movies and period piece romances. If Keira Knightley would star in a period piece horror movie, that would be my all-time favorite movie. Do you think that reading romance has caused you to have unrealistic expectations? No. I feel like reading romance has made me even more sure of the fact that life's just not for me. I like it in books, I like it in movies, but not for me. Every time I read a romance book and I'm like swooning over something, I then think about if that were to happen to me in real life, what? I would not be about it. I would be pepper spraying so many romantic heroes. When not recording, what does a normal day of reading look like for you? If you ever see me in a video looking presentable in a cute outfit with my hair done and my makeup on and my hoop earrings, and I'm like sitting on the couch reading my book, that is not real. No, it's like real in the moment of me filming, but normally I don't look like that. That's not how I'm looking. Normally I'm like in bed, my hair's up in a messy bun, I'm wearing sweats, I got my double chin going, I'm like reading like this. Just not cute. How does your family feel about you being on BookTube, especially since you mostly talk about smutty books? I don't know. Like everybody in my family knows about my channel and they all ask me about it. I don't really know if anyone watches my videos enough to know what I talk about, but I also don't care. Like, I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm very like open about talking about sex and romance and stuff like that, so I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows. I do kind of feel uncomfortable sometimes when I know that like one of my younger cousins is looking at my channel. I don't know, no one's ever said anything. What star sign are you? Well, I am a Capricorn, Virgo moon, Gemini rising. Do you feel that you've grown as a person and as a booktuber? What changed since you started? Absolutely. Like I said, I was 18 when I started. I was in a very bad place in my life, and now I'm an almost 25-year-old lady, and a lot has changed. I live by myself. I have a dog. I'm a lot more confident, I think, a lot more at peace with who I am as a person, and I give a lot less fucks about anything. How do you deal with reading slumps as a booktuber? That's a good question. I feel like a lot of times when people talk about reading slumps, it's not in terms of like being a booktuber. So like reading slumps are totally normal. They're totally fine. It's just your mind and body's way of telling you you're not in the mood to read right now. And normally I would just not read. I would just do something else, watch a movie, binge watch a show. and that's cool. But when you're a booktuber who is consistently making content that requires consistent reading, that is a little bit more difficult. So the way that I deal with that is I have a backlog of videos. I have tons of just like sit down videos, mostly recommendations, so that if I go like a couple days or a week without reading anything, I still have content ready to post that does not involve reading. If you're looking for advice, film a bunch of just sit down, easy videos, whether they're like recommendations, tags, whatever, and save them. Don't post them. Save them for when you're really like not feeling like reading anything, not feeling like making these like long creative videos, or you're tired. Just save them. Hold on to them, because when the time comes and you really need it, you're gonna be so thankful that you have it there. What is your worst memory of being on BookTube? I'm not gonna say who this author was. If you were around a long time ago, you might remember, but I don't know if anyone is still around from back then. Okay, so I was attacked. No, I had a very bad experience with a popular author's fans. Basically, I met a very popular, beloved author, and they were rude to me, like really rude. And I happened to have been vlogging that day. And I didn't vlog the encounter, but I vlogged afterwards when I was really hurt and upset, and I explained what happened. I can definitely recognize like my own faults in that I was very heat of the moment. It had just happened. I was hurt and upset at how I was treated, and then I posted it and went to sleep. Mistake number one, never ever post something controversial and then go to bed. I woke up the next day to this author's fandom attacking me. Like, before I said I've never gotten hate on BookTube, that's not true, because I got hate on this video from this author's fans. Like, people were coming for me. People were coming for my life, my parents, my appearance. Like, it was aggressive. And from that day, like, this was like 6 years ago, I still want nothing to do with that author or their books. I get recommended their books all the time, and I will drop dead before I ever even entertain the thought. I don't even feel a type of way towards that author anymore. It was a bad experience, whatever. I'm like the dirt underneath her shoe, that's fine. But her fans, I'm just like super salty about, because they were really aggressive and rude for no reason. Like, just because I said their favorite author was rude to me, they came for my entire life. So yeah, that was probably the worst memory, because that was like a really bad time. And like, I felt like I did not want to be on BookTube anymore. And I was also young. Like, I was like 19 and very sensitive. If that happened today, like, I would not care at all. But I was just like a little sensitive girl back then. What's your favorite book that people don't read enough of? And then there was another question that I could answer with the same person. Who is an author that writes beautiful books but hasn't received the recognition yet? 100,000% Tessa Gratton. You guys are sleeping on her. Strange Grace, The Queens of Innis Lear. Those are like two of my favorite books, and nobody reads her freaking books. Every time I check Goodreads, I look just to see how many reviews her books have. They're always like very low. Please, you guys, if you don't want to commit to the 600-page length of The Queens of Innis Lear, read Strange Grace. It's a standalone. It's like 300 pages. It's got a polyamorous relationship. It's got the devil. It's got witches. It's got a creepy forest. It's got sacrifices. It's amazing. And I'm like really mad that you guys aren't reading it. I think that is where I'm going to end this Q&A. There were so many more questions. I might do a part 2. Let me know if you want me to do a part 2, but I feel like I answered a good amount of stuff. I talked about a lot. I still cannot believe I've been here for 7 years. That's just crazy. Will I be here for another 7 years? I don't know. Come back 2027, see if I'm still here. Thank you guys for watching me for 7 years, or even if you've only been here for 7 days, thank you. So I hope you guys liked this Q&A. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!